and I'll move on because honestly I don't know what to do to his testimony. Very well. Thank you very much for the testimony, detective. It seems we do not need you to testify on other matters. True sheriff never leaves the stand, except to get a good old lunchland steak from the... I forgot her name, but the lunch lady person from the Rice and Ashes. Yeah. Adios. See you, spaced cowboy. And that's Clint Eastwood movie reference, if I ever saw one. Now then, I believe the prosecution has a second witness. Yes, Your Honor. Okay. I mean... Huh? No, actually, I don't have a witness. But you told the court Erlenmeyer's psychiatrist would testify about his motive. Well, yes, but it seems she had a death in the family at the last minute and couldn't come. Bullshit. You're no. I don't believe this for a second. Okay, I have a slightly bad feeling now that why she changed her mind. I sincerely apologize for this, Your Honor. However, although this is not as good as a professional testimony, I believe the common knowledge that the victim sentenced the defendant to jail is enough of a motive. I see, so there's no second witness. No, Your Honor. What does it mean? If there's no more witnesses, then let's go through the evidence, I don't know. Therefore, the prosecution is forced to rest its case. However, I believe I have provided sufficient proof of the defendant's guilt, which the defense failed to refute. No. This trial doesn't have to end here, right? We have evidence. We need to discuss... We haven't discussed the psychological profile of the victim yet, either. So it was a trap that I completely fell for, and the pieces of gum, of course. Motive, sentencing into jail. Opportunity, their meeting in the cemetery. Decisive evidence, the fingerprints, and the condition in which Erlenmeyer was found. Erlenmeyer's guilt is obvious. No, it's not. It's not obvious. There's a stack of evidence against him, but I cannot accept this. Then I believe we reach a conclusion. Members of the jury, you have seen and heard all the evidence and arguments of the attorneys. No, they will be convinced that Erlenmeyer is guilty if they will start at this point. Now I will instruct you on the law. Did I fuck up actually? I'm sorry, Robert. Huh? It was me. Huh? What?
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, Polly.
I'm not. I'm just confused what's going on. I'm sorry, Mrs. Poole, but you won't get me this time. If Mr. Justice had known there would be no more testimonies after Detective Marshall's, I'm certain he would not have given up so easily. We are dealing with men's lives, and the ends do not justify the means. Honestly, Mr. Justice, I'm disappointed you didn't object. Oh, sorry. If we are going to have a fair trial, we must have more professionalism, and I mean from both of you. I will give you one last chance, Mr. Justice. Call a witness or present evidence, something that will let me believe in your client's innocence. Or else the jury will make their verdict for real, and I believe we all know what they will decide at this point. I understand, Your Honor. Whew, that was close, but I can't relax it. If I mess this up, the case is over for real. I need something, anything that can show Erlenmeyer is innocent. So... No, there's no evidence. I can't show the pieces of gum, and the psychological profile by itself It doesn't show that he's innocent, it just shows that he has different perception of what the killer means. It doesn't refute any of the prosecution's points that he's there and his fingerprints or anything like that, so I would say we need a witness. Yes, I would say... Let's save. We call a witness. I like to call a witness, Your Honor. None of these 8 matches. Fisher, no. The cat is dead. Judge is dead. Marshall's just here. There's nobody else than Erlenmeyer himself that could provide testimony, right? That's because we don't know who is a third person. There's literally nobody else except Marshall, who was in charge of investigation, and Erlenmeyer. I mean, yeah, it has to be him, right? The defense calls Robert Erlenmeyer to the stand. There may not be an eyewitness to the crime, but there's someone who can give us an account of what happened. Defendant? The defense believes his testimony will lead us to a very different truth.
Objection!
Of course it will. The defendant will just lie and say anything to defend himself.
Objection!
I've already talked to him and I think he's just as clueless as we are on what happened that night.
Objection!
We know exactly what happened that night. Erlenmeyer had over chambers with his own car.
Objection!
So many objections. If Erlenmeyer's going to lie, don't you think he would have already given the police an alibi or tried to explain himself by now? Yeah, exactly.
Objection!
Actually, I hate to admit it, but that's a good point. However, as that may be, he is not exactly in a state to testify. I believe there is no harm in at least trying, Mrs. Poole. Let's give this a shot. Please bring the defendant to the stand. Please state your name and occupation. Oh, fuck me. Okay, this is a good start. Apollo Justice. I'm a defense attorney. This is a complete waste of time. You referring to you, not me. Robert Erlenmeyer. Murderer. What? You have a different perception of the word murderer. We have to make this clear at some point. Then again, maybe I spoke too soon. But that's what Miss Plum has been saying all this time. I think he just called Poole flat. It's what everyone has been saying. I don't care what other people said, Mr. Feynman. Are you really a murderer? Mayday, Mayday, SOS, we're sinking. April 14, 1912. Did you kill Judge Chambers? No. Finally. I think my life expectancy was just cut in half. Do you know why we asked you to testify? Yes. Cut to act already and answer the questions normally. Jessica Poole. Ah! I prefer billiards. May I have fruit salad for lunch? Okay. If it's an act, he's the best actor I've ever seen. Mr. Erlenmeyer, please testify about the night of the crime, and then you get your fruit salad. Okay. I was playing billiards, but I can't tell you where. I was probably asleep when it happened. After all, my dream was strange. I then woke up in the graveyard with Judge dead. I have no idea how I got there or what happened. All in all, the fruit salad was very tasty. Oh, maybe hey, maybe he means pieces of gum, right? He was eating gum. 1 lemon, 1 strawberry. They are fruity. So, this is the fruit salad. Huh. Okay, but what does it mean? Thank you very much for your testimony, Mr. Erlenmeyer. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Justice. And you were playing billiards 2 nights ago. Yes. Please tell us where you were playing. Please, Mr. Erlenmeyer. This isn't helping your case. Yesterday you said you're innocent and always have been. Why won't you say it now? I don't remember saying that. I hope I'm innocent, but I'm not sure. I guess if it's that important, I can tell you. Really? Where? I was playing billiards at the pool table.
Blasphemy! Sorry, it's one of my pet peeves.
So, where was this pool table? I can't tell you. Dude, you're gonna get the firing squad in like 15 minutes if you don't tell me everything. Please. This is why you never ask defendants to testify. Sorry, the wrong voice. This is why you never ask defendant to testify, Hookie. It never plays in their favor. The jurists are lucky this serial killer doesn't have a good attorney, since it has made their job a lot easier. And mine too. Please continue with the testimony, witness. This is making me look like a fool. There's plenty to ask about. Oh. Let's ask about a dream. What did you dream about? It was dark, I was trapped, and the ostriches were fighting. He was in the trunk, right? It was dark. Or maybe not, maybe he was blindfolded, that's why it was dark. But yes, this makes sense. He was forced to witness the crime. He saw who did it. He was tied and blindfolded. In the car maybe? I don't know. But I don't know what is this ostrich thing. Seems like important information. Please add it to your testimony. Okay, let's ask more about this. Yeah, what is ostrich here? Yes, we were playing Scrabble and they started to fight. Strutio Camelus for a triple score bonus. Let me guess, you are going to come up with some Freudian explanation for the dream where Scrabble is his childlike purity and ostriches are the innocents, right?
Obviously, Scrabble is where the ostriches are fear.
No, I'm not a dream explainer. I was going to point out the obvious contradiction. What? If it was dark, how could he see the ostriches fighting? Okay, let's go for it. This is a good point, maybe. Or not. Not a really good point. It was a dream. Right. Oh. Okay, this is a bug, I guess. Mr. Justice, I will never get that minute of my life back. Please bring us back to reality, Mr. Spool. Were you immediately arrested or interrogated first? No, nobody interrogated this guy, because then... yeah. I opened my eyes. A policewoman said, "You are under arrest for the murder of Judge Chambers. I was handcuffed before I woke up. I don't know what was going on." Was that cruel treatment really necessary? What do you mean cruel treatment? What? Was killing 13 people really necessary? When you find a serial killer sleeping in someone's blood, you don't greet them with a cup of coffee. but they could have been both the victim of an accident. That's as likely as you making a valid point in court. The investigation showed it wasn't an accident. Besides, we're not here to discuss the conditions of this defendant's arrest. If you don't have a more relevant point, I propose we move on. Agreed. Well, can't help you there. Seems he's as confused about it as I am. An inexhaustive killer wakes up at the crime scene with no idea how he got there or what happened. You should write books. That would have been much more preferable to killing people. Of course, the reality is much simpler. Erlenmeyer wanted cemetery and murdered Chambers in cold blood, fully aware of everything. Is be deliberately vague because he cannot come up with any explanation for himself. I must agree, this sounds like a badly thought out lie. Like when I told my father all the chocolate simply disappeared. Okay. No, that's not it. The real killer must have taken advantage of Erlenmeyer's mental state to frame him for the crime. Yes, exactly. But I have no idea who did it or how. Yeah, that's a problem. So, oh Jesus. Bugs. What made the salad so good? It's the gum. Now I'm certain of it. It's a piece of gum. It was chewy.
You.
Elmer's testimony makes no sense. Just bear with it, Polly.
I'm sure you'll find something. Yeah.
What's with Rhea's shirt? Huh? What do you mean? Why can't she just have regular sleeves? I don't know, it's a fashion statement. Please don't get sidetracked, Mr. Justice. Yeah, thank you, Judge. And I bet Strings should be able to command more authority if he looked more like Marshall.
Hey, Polly. Huh? What? He can hear you.
But were you trying to make inner monologue? To think I gave you a second chance? No, Your Honor, I think you look great. Forget it, Mr. Justice, that's not the point here. Continue your cross-examination. Oops.
Don't forget that Erlenmeyer is your client, Polly. If you find a contradiction, think it through and first make sure you doesn't hurt your case.
Maybe, but if there's nothing, he'll get a guilty verdict for sure. Considering it can't get much worse, I just think I need to point out any and all contradictions I might find. Let's see. Why don't you say you were probably asleep? Because it can't prove he was. You know he wasn't since he was awake.
Murdering!
I was asking a witness, Mrs. Poole. Shut up! I thought I was asleep, but the noises seemed real. Okay, that's important information, yes. Okay, let's see. Where were you while you were falling asleep? I was just doing things I had to do, like playing with the mice, the usual. Huh? There are noises. From the fruit salad, the core has ears and potato has eyes. What noises did the fruit salad make? Heavy breathing, something like a siren, someone saying please! Please. Ah, you probably heard police. This would imply he heard the car alarm and subsequent phone call. So he would only have been half asleep. Why does that matter? If there was a third person at the scene, he might have heard his voice. Mr. Erlenmeyer, did you hear anyone else speak in your dream? No. Really? Yes. Congratulations, antennas. You are just a defender and admit there was no third person at the scene. No, it just means he didn't hear anyone. That's a different thing. Totally brilliant! I couldn't have done it better myself. Wait, just because he didn't... yes. Thank you, Apollo. Exactly. That's not the point. You are the one disputing police's theory, so you are the one who needs to present evidence. Whether you fail to prove something or prove it wasn't true, the result is the same, a guilty verdict. Don't get carried away, Mrs. Poole. It's my job to do the verdicts here. We still need to finish examining this testimony. Not that I think it will be of much use. Please continue, witness.
I'm surprised no one pointed out that corn is grain and potatoes are vegetables.
Is this one of your half-truth, half-nonsense things or just all nonsense? How should I know? That helps tremendously. Mr. Justice. Ah! Even if you cannot understand what I'm saying, I never lie. Mr. Erlenmeyer. Offer not valid Wednesday through Monday, we're closed Tuesday. It's like trying to catch the wind in a net. Polly? Yeah.
Never mind, you have a tissue?
Sure. Are you okay?
Yeah, just need to blow my nose.
Yeah, me too. Here we go. Let's do it together, Rhea. What was she going to tell me? The only thing that springs to mind is that I know what is the fruit salad thingy. So let's save. And present this. I don't know if it's any relevance.
Objection!
No. Oh, I have to pentalize you. Okay. Damn it. Maybe Erlenmeyer is infected with this MLJ5. Wait. This says the car alarm was set up as a result of struggle. Well, he didn't struggle, right? So maybe I could use this car alarm instead. Car alarm. Go. Please work.
Objection!
What?
Objection!
Oh! Mr. Erlenmeyer, when you mention mice, do you by any chance mean these? How did you... Okay, I'm not sure where I'm going with this, to be honest. But let's see. I've done my homework. As the court can plainly see, this is a mouse. However, there are two interesting characteristics of this mouse. First, it is infected with a rare virus called COVID-19. And second, it was found in a very specific location. Erlenmeyer's old biology classroom at Larrybuds High School. We can determine from Erlenmeyer's reaction just now that this is the same mouse in his testimony. So if he had been spending quality time with his mouse, he had to have been in that classroom. And that doesn't change anything. Yes, it does. He's a different place. It changes everything, you idiot. I have a piece of evidence that when coupled with this discovery will lead to a radical change in the court's interpretation of the events that night. Ambitious today, aren't we? This Panakian evidence and better not be disappointed. If you are going to work up all this hype, you need to be prepared for the consequences for when you don't deliver. Right, Your Honor? Yes. If you're just bluffing, a simple penalty won't satisfy me. Not a problem. I have just what I need. If Erlenmeyer was really in the classroom, they are going to need to deal with this.
Take that!
This noise, your elixir of life is rather a poison of death for your client. What? It was in fact this virus. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, let's save the game. I'm on the minimum health.
Take that!
We all had false assumptions from the start, and those assumptions stem from these pictures. Yesterday, a janitor at Larry Butt's high school reported that the biology classroom had been vandalized overnight with obscene pictures everywhere and pieces of music signed Charles Darwin. In other words, he stumbled upon a crime scene for a mysterious bust killing. Get to the point. While investigating, we quickly assumed that it was the work of an imposter because the condition of the classroom contradicted a certain piece of evidence. What do you mean? Huh? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here.
Take that!
Do not save. What is the contradiction here? Is it this again?
Take that!
No, it's not that again. Isn't it this one here? This should form a bust when viewed up from close, but it wasn't, right?
Take that!
That's a pretty hefty file. Which part are you referring to? Case summary. If the court will look at the case summary page, it will see that the pictures of the victim were found at each crime scene, but the pictures in the classroom were of Robert Erlenmeyer, the supposed killer. The logical conclusion is that it was simply an imposter, as you said himself. Yes, that's what I thought at first too. However, at that time I had no idea that Erlenmeyer was actually in the classroom that night. But once we accept this fact, the imposter theory is no longer plausible. If Erlenmeyer was there, and he is the killer, would he really let the imposter do his work? And quite badly at that. He obviously did it to throw the investigation off track. No. Would he really do something like that? Hey, Polly.
Do you know why I wear headphones whenever I shop at hardware stores?
No, but I think it's because of the noise there, right? Because you want to listen to music. Because I don't want to listen to lies they sell. Okay.
And that's exactly what this is.
Polly.
It is time to put your thinking headphones.
Yeah. Glad to see we agree. Mrs. Poole. I'm sorry, but there's much more sensible explanation for the pictures. Robert Erlenmeyer was the intended victim. On night of December 27th, Robert Erlenmeyer was not prepared to kill Judge Chambers. He was about to be killed by real mysterious bust killer. The fact that every detail of the crime scene besides the bottles matches a serial killer's usual MO proves it wasn't just a copycat. Plus, the photograph matches much up if Erlenmeyer really was the intended victim. Not only is Erlenmeyer innocent of this murder, but also every other mysterious bust murder. What? Well, that's utterly, completely insane. If my theory is so insane, then come and disprove it, huh? I've done it. I've turned the case around. That's not the way things work, Hookie. I don't need to disprove that theory, however. I can and will show you how ludicrous it is. First of all, Erlenmeyer has already confessed to the crime. He's mentally unstable. Or is he? You can't ignore the fact that he confessed to the crime multiple times and was declared guilty for those crimes in court of law. Plus, you failed to present a single piece of evidence that incriminates anyone besides the defendant. Even if you should have the mental capacity to remember that you could not prove a third person was at the cemetery. Well, for now. Do you expect us to wait for you to receive an epiphany from God? Either you prove it or you can't. And finally, if Erlenmeyer was the intended victim, why is he alive and well while Judge Chambers is in the next world? And why was Erlenmeyer found in Chambers' blood with his fingerprints on the steering wheel? Why indeed? Why did he turn up in Forest Mall Cemetery when the last thing he remembers is being with his mice in the biology classroom? Even there to kill Judge Chambers, of course. But how could he have known that Chambers would be there? That would depend on why the victim himself was there. Precisely. And the victim was at the cemetery at the time by chance. It was just a big accident. An accident? That's right. Chambers had intended to visit the cemetery that afternoon, for it was the anniversary of his brother's death. However, when he got home from the trial, he accidentally mistook his soporifics for his tranquilizer pills. As a result, he slept until about midnight. Panicked, he rushed to the cemetery in the middle of the night. Although someone might have anticipated Chambers could visit the graveyard, there's no way they would guess he'd mix up his pills. What's your point? My point is that the killer could not have known Chambers would be in the graveyard at the time. You already said that, but it doesn't make a difference. Whether Erlenmeyer planned it or if it was by chance, they met and Erlenmeyer killed Chambers. You can't deny that simple truth.
Hey Polly, you know why I hate playing billiards on a pool table?
No. Because you're a stickler for syntax.
Because it just isn't right, just like this.
Yeah. It's not as simple as you may think, Mrs. Spool. It raises an important issue, and that issue is premeditation. If they met by chance, the murder could not have been premeditated. Exactly. I never said it was. And whether it was or wasn't, it won't help your client. Was this the important issue mentioned before, Mr. Justice? Wasn't? Okay. Okay, there's another issue. In other words, you were just having a completely pointless conversation with prosecution. I guess. And I suppose you won't find this completely point. Fuck! I'm dead. Okay. Oh shit. Failure. Okay, let's try it again.